Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
Welcome back, Spartan Nation. We now bring in legendary State of Michigan prep, high school football and basketball coach, and a longtime contributor to Spartan Nation. In fact, I don't even know that he knows this, but 2019 starts his 10th year with us.
Wow.
Let's bring in the great Coach Chuck Grenier. Coach, 10 years.
Well, I didn't realize that. That time's gone by fast.
Yeah, and how am I getting older and you're getting younger?
I wish that were the case. I really do, yeah. 10 years, that's a long time. I just didn't realize that.
That's kind of exciting, isn't it?
It is. That's real exciting.
Yeah, this is we're starting the 11th year for the radio show.
Wow. Time does go by fast.
I agree, my friend. Coach, we're going to talk Spartan football today, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to kind of give an overview to everyone, and then I'm just going to let you take it away. Mark D'Antonio decides that there's no staff members he needs to fire, and it certainly is his decision. Nobody's calling for Mark D'Antonio to be fired. Nobody's doing any of that. Well, at least here at Spartan Nation, nobody is. And it's his decision to make. It's his staff. It's his everything. But they moved Brad Salem to offensive coordinator, which is where he should have been when Dave Warner got the job. And they moved him back to quarterbacks, which is a little bit baffling to me. They put Jim Bowman where Jim Bowman should be, which is at the offensive line. He's a genius offensive line coach. So both of those are upgrades. But then you still keep them on the staff. And then the one coach who did not do bad at all, Terrence Samuel. Now, people talk about wide receivers getting separation, and they're absolutely right. But what they don't understand is that the offensive coordinator sets the routes. So that's not on Terrence. He gets demoted. Well, several of them got demoted. I have no problem with Don Treadwell getting an upgrade because Don Treadwell's a great coach and shouldn't have been where he was anyways. A lot of stuff here. And then, oh, by the way, you still have Mark Staten and Dave Warner, who are not good coaches on your staff. I'm baffled here. I understand Mark can do whatever he wants, but quite frankly, he really did nothing. He just shuffled the deck. And I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, there's a lot of moving parts in this scenario. That is sure. When you have a shakeup where coaches are coaching in different positions, there's going to be problems right away to some extent with working with different members or different football players on the team. So there's going to be that kind of problem that's going to come along. As far as the particular positions in coaching, this is going to be, the ideal scenario, bring in some new blood and maybe give the players a lift as far as that way, but this is not going to happen. You just reshuffle players. So this, in my opinion, this is what we got to look forward to. We got to have Brad Salem come in and be innovative because the talent level coming back next year is not going to be of that upper echelon level. For instance, running back. Unless one of these incoming freshmen is a magic moment, you don't have a really good running back. The average at best running backs. This offense that was there before is predicated with Lev Gunzel, L.J. Scott type running back, and there's not one there. And how are you going to replace Felton Davis? I don't see another Felton Davis type on the roster unless they shuffle some people around and bring White into that slot, and I don't know on that one. And then you have another problem at tight end. You have an unknown quantity at Terrence Gillison. And I hope that he really comes through for them. But then your first tight end coming back is Dotson, who proved that he's not much of a blocker and average at catching. So Salem is really, really going to have to do a lot of managing and updating and maybe blocking schemes and figuring out some innovative ideas in order to make yards. And then there's the big question mark, the major question mark that you have at the quarterback position. Now, you got Lewerke coming back. In my opinion, maybe Lewerke is the best on the roster from what we saw this year. You got Rocky Lombardi breathing down his neck, and you got both quarterbacks, in my opinion, of course, technically, technique-wise, are not where they should be. So there's a big question mark going into the spring, and I'd be really, really interested to see what Brad Salem comes up with the playbook and blocking schemes. Now, with Bowman there, things could improve greatly because that's his natural position. And I'll give you an example, something that I've harped on a lot of time. They run some plays to the short side of the field that are wide running plays, but then they don't seal the corner. So maybe Brad Salem can come up with some ideas there. And the way that they run option, I thought, has always been kind of an interesting way for me because they really don't, with the option, attack the edge. So maybe Brad will come up with some different ideas and to elevate, and this is a weird way to say this, I guess, but elevate the offense to be proficient, which they weren't last year. But you got some major holes that you have to plug, and he's going to have his hands full going forward into spring ball.
Coach, were you surprised? Now let me just say this: you and I both like Brian Lewerke and Rocky Lombardi. So none of this is personal about either one. They're both great kids. We just want the best quarterback at Michigan State. But my question is, were you surprised that he just gave Brian the keys with no competition? Because people internally were upset.
Well, it's always a surprise because, I guess I would not say always, but yeah, major surprise on that one because since D'Antonio has been there, it's best man, next man up, best man up. That's what you always have. And you got two quarterbacks that did not play very well last year. So this job should be up for grabs. It should be up for grabs, and the best man wins the position. I think what Brad's going to have to do is put a little bit of a simplification on the offense and maybe narrow the playbook down to some extent, but make it just a little bit easier. The way that I saw the quarterback situation was that during game times, Brian Lewerke seemed to read defenses better than Lombardi, but Lombardi had more enthusiasm, and the players gelled more to Lombardi than to Lewerke. So there's a major problem right there at quarterback, and hopefully they'll be able to get this solved through spring ball.
It's going to be very fast, but I want to go back because you didn't really answer my question. Were you surprised they just gave Brian the keys to the car and didn't say there's going to be a competition?
Well, I was surprised, and I don't know if that's coach talk. I don't know if that's political talk within the system. I don't know, but not to have a fight for the quarterback position and just to hand over the keys makes no sense because if Lombardi is a great talent and Lewerke is a great talent, then there should be a fight between those two and best man wins. But yeah, I was awful surprised on that. I don't think that happens in any other position on the football team. I mean, right tackle, who's fighting for that position at right tackle? You just don't say this guy's going to win, and the other guy. Why would you want to improve and make yourself better if the guy that you're challenging for that position just gets handed the position? So that makes no sense.
You're right. It doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, I want to go back to the salary issue because it is a real issue. not only is no one going to get a decrease in pay, they're going to probably have to give some increases because guys got promotions over other people. If one dime extra goes to anyone on this staff offensively, does that stun you?
Oh, yeah. This is coaches are hired to be fired. That's just the way it is in the coaching world. You're hired to be fired, and you're hired to raise your particular position to a level. You're hired to be successful. If you're not successful, then next man up with coaching too. So on the offensive side, they were not successful this year. I think I wrote on the page 2 touchdowns in the last 4 games. 2 touchdowns in 4 games, last 4. That doesn't make any sense at all. How could you possibly say that you were successful when you only score 2 touchdowns in 4 games? So, nobody should be getting raises. If you want to think that Brad Salem now being the OC, he gets a raise because he's the OC, I could maybe understand that. But, no, nobody should be getting raises on the offensive side because you weren't successful. So,
interesting stuff. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly with Spartan football. That is the one, the only, the iconic wonder himself, the ageless man, the great Coach Chuck Grenier. The great Coach Chuck Grenier.